Hello and welcome back to the Cove with more BattleTech. So we are back with the last couple of missions here on this planet. We're going to start with the Letters of Marque today, and then we're going to move on to the patrol, assuming we do so in a timely manner. So let's go ahead and get prepared. There's not going to be much salvage here, so we're going to go for money, make sure that we bump up our coffers nicely. We'll be fighting in the Badlands. It's a straight up battle and is of one skull of difficulty. So let's focus in on our cash. Salvage will be whatever we are given, and then let's see, are we happy with our current loadout? Well, I think that's probably going to work. Yeah, none of our we don't really need to move around our pilots at all, and our mechs I feel are fairly decent for what we're doing. Let's just go ahead and deploy,
MechWarriors, prepare for combat.
and we will see exactly what we can bring on into the fight. Who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky and they'll bring in only maybe a single mech, and maybe we'll get some extra parts for that. That could be nice. We could also sell one of those potentially. We still have a commando to sell, so we do have a little bit of extra money up our sleeve if we desire. But first things first, let's just make sure that we get all of the sea bills possible. So to do that, we must go ahead and destroy all the brigand units. The Davian citizens here have been suffering at the hands of a local band of brigands, remnants of it from a Taurian battalion that saw action in the Third Succession War. With no prospect or funds, they've become common criminals. You are to eliminate them, down to the last mech and vehicle. Okay, so, makes me think that we're going to be dealing with maybe some tanks potentially. Some tanks or tracked vehicles. Wheeled vehicles, I don't know, maybe they've got APCs, I'm not sure. But either way, we will go ahead and deal with them. As Oliveira says, Commander, we can expect to face experienced pilots in elderly mechs and vehicles. But be careful, there could be more of these bandits than the Federated Suns is letting on. That is a very true possibility, so we'll keep our eyes peeled. So, I guess the only way we'll find out is by jumping on down, and I guess we'll see what happens when we load on in. Okay, so game has loaded. Let's go ahead and dive on in.
Interface initiated.
Let's see. Alright, enemies detected in the area, Commander. Move forward and clear them out. Remind these bandits what disciplined MechWarriors can do. Alrighty-o. Well, what are we looking at terrain-wise? Okay, so they're a fair way up. I don't think, as much as this road will let us traverse quickly, that will give them the height advantage. So I think we're going to try and focus moving up along here.
Standing by.
Let's move our big heavy mechs first. Make sure that we are not getting ahead of ourselves. Everybody else we can kind of separate out a little bit.
On the move.
And then I think that should be fine.
Moving out.
Alright. Still no contact. Let's see. Let's get our Vindicator forwards. I think that should be sufficient.
Position confirmed.
We'll bring our Enforcer. Okay, so here comes the question. Do we want to go for the high ground, or do we want to maybe potentially go for cover? Well, you know what? It's probably much of a muchness. Let's just... Oh, you know, we'll stand on the road. That should be fine. Javelin. Let's go ahead and we'll keep you up over here. And then our Phoenix Hawk, let's get you into position there.
On it.
Alright. Still no sign of contact.
Waiting for orders.
Alright then, well then, if that's the case, let's go ahead and pick up the high ground. I think that's going to be the best advantage for us. Shooting down is always
Coordinates
the better
received.
choice. Okay, and we have sensor contact. So that looks like 2 little vehicles and 1 mech. Alright then. Let's go ahead and deal with these vehicles first. Although, you know, we might actually be able to get a nice position here with the Enforcer. Yeah, move up, potentially bring him closer to us. We can take him on with the UAC and the laser boats.
Eyes on hostile reinforcements.
Oh.
We're heading your way.
Okay, reinforcements. That's a little bit more annoying. Well, it's a good thing we're in cover. Let's get this Javelin. Let's see, you know what? I think we deal with these things first so they cannot provide fire support. So let's go full sprint.
Moving out.
And then same thing with our Phoenix Hawk. Let's
Moving to position.
get into position there and see how that all plays. Alright, so a tag. Okay, good thing that missed. I would not be too happy if we start taking extra damage unnecessarily.
Ready for order.
We do have our Javelin, which can come in for a melee, which will do double damage against a vehicle. As long as we hit, we will get the kill. You know what? That actually could be reasonable, but I do want to try and make sure that that vehicle comes closer. So let's reserve for a second. We'll see if we can get that thing to move forwards. Oh, and it looks like they've got a Jenna moving. Okay. Well, we've got some good cover there. That's not too bad.
Damage minimal.
They're not in our rear flank, which is nice. Okay, we have a vehicle in the second position here. Okay, hang on a second. Let's see what Big Man can do with the Phoenix Hawk. If we were to use our jump jets, we're not going to be able to get point blank on that thing, and that's moving after us. So that makes me think it's maybe an SRM carrier or like a Shrek PPC.
Need something, Chief?
Which does admittedly make me concerned, but I think if we go for a melee kill here, we should... Oh, there's no real way to see exactly what we're dealing with.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, hang on a second. What about our Vindicator? What can we do here? Oh, actually, that's traversing back around. Our Enforcer's in a bit of an annoying position here. Yeah, we would have some mediocre shots at best against that Jenna. Alright. Yeah, that thing's gonna get close if possible. Let's go ahead and maybe move this thing. Actually, you know what? I think sprinting's actually not gonna get us eyes on what we are after. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, and we're not gonna get good eyes on target either. Okay, let's have a look. 55 on the large laser. That's not going to be enough to take that thing out. We definitely need more damage. How about if we were to shoot from here? We would have some pretty terrible shots. Need a way to deal with its evasion.
Waiting for orders.
Alright, well, you know what? I think what we'll do is... Oh, that could also be an Inferno carrier. This does concern me a bit. You know what? We're going to go ahead and move backwards. This thing's just a tag. It's got 2 small lasers and a tag unit. If we move here, we should be able to fire our LRMs on the Jenna. We might do some damage. We'll strip some evasion, but we should stay safe from whatever that thing is back there. And I think that's the important call.
Heading out.
So let's just figure this out one step at a time.
Taking the shot.
Alright, a little bit of damage, but again, nothing too crazy for what was expected. Yeah. Alright, still kicking.
Yeah.
Vindicator, let's bring you... would have to show our back to that thing, and that does not fill me with a great deal of happiness. If we moved over here, our back will be protected, and we should have some LRMs. Oh, actually, would we be out of range of our large lasers too? Hang on a second, let's just see. We do have our large lasers if we stick with where we're at. You know what, let's just double check. We'll move up a little bit if possible. Okay, that's too far. That's too far. I guess if we fire from where we are, that should be good enough. Alright, let's just rotate around. And then we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, 50% on those LRMs, nothing too crazy. And then these large lasers. We'll just see how this all goes.
All weapons, fire.
Alright, well, at least we took out an arm. That's a fair bit of its
Some heavy damage.
potential damage, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, there goes two of its medium lasers. We've almost dealt with a torso, almost taken out a leg. Yep, that should all be good. Let's move over here, and I think those 2 shots should be decent. I don't think we can get our medium lasers on target. Yeah, 70, 75, 70, 75. Alright, we'll stick here. And then... Oh, actually, that could open us up to a shot in the back. That's not quite as good as I may hope. Alright, we'll go to here. I don't think it'll necessarily have the movement to get into our rear arc. But if we can try and take this out quickly, that would be ideal. We'll let our UAC 10 cool down after this. I don't think they'll get close enough, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, well, that's one problem dealt with.
Destroyed.
Alright, that's very, very nice. Looks like they are... Yep, there's only the 2 others as reinforcements.
Standing by.
Big man, let's move. I am tempted to move on in here, but at the same time too, I am curious to see what's up here. You know what? Let's go ahead and reserve. We'll let that thing come to us. We've got the most evasion we're ever going to have. This might be a good opportunity to take that vehicle out before it causes too much trouble. Alright, and that evasion certainly helped. Okay. Very, very nice. Alright then. Big man, let's go. We can't get the kill right now, but we can go for this kill over here. Action economy is going to be important. Let's go ahead and we will attack from over there. Make sure nothing's in our rear arc. Yeah, that should be a solid kill.
Copy. Engaging.
There we have it. Just to make sure no one escaped from the vehicle.
One for the scrappy.
Give them everything you got.
Alright, so let's see what they've got moving. Yeah, it looks like this is a Flight Mech 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, that must be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th one would be the Striker here. Yeah, alright, let's just double check. What has this got? SRM-6 and LRM-10. Oh, okay, you know what? Not quite as scary as I thought it possibly was. Yeah.
Yes, Commander.
That actually doesn't make me feel too bad. Again, I don't think we'll waste anything with our... we could potentially do some damage here, but I think we maybe go for another melee. That might be our best bet. So let's use you for your sensor lock and armor stripping in a second. So let's reserve. We'll let the others move up forwards, and then we'll figure out what we want to do next. Alright, fire starter coming on in. No flamers fired at this range. That is always good. This thing seems to be traversing back. Oh. Okay. Alright, I'm guessing that's probably a Panther with a single PPC shot.
Commander?
Let's bring...
Good to go.
Well, what do we want to do? We've got a few choices. Maybe we move up and we take a shot all the way down there. 75 and 85 across the board is fairly solid. Yeah, look, I don't think we're going to do much better than that. And if we were to do anything else, let's see. We're not going to get anybody into a better position right now. No, we might potentially come down here with a Phoenix Hawk. We could do some jump jets and take shots on that. Then we could follow up with some indirect from Fimble. Yeah, look, I think that's going to be the way that we do this. Let's march on up. We'll get into position. We'll take some decent shots down here. This thing is not particularly well armored. Let's take it down.
All weapons are covered.
Alright, solid damage. Let's follow that up with... actually, you know what? We could possibly fire again. Medium lasers are on the board. We could turn off that UAC 10. That'll cool us down a bit. Just make sure that we deal some solid damage. That actually might be the best thing for us. Yeah, you know what? I don't even think we'll necessarily move. No, we've got cover. They're not going to get closer. We could potentially pick up some evasion. 55s and 80s. It's all about the same. Alright, well then if that is the case, let's at least pick up that little pip of evasion. We might get ourselves into a better position to fight that other mech down here. But otherwise that should be safe.
Engaging target.
Alright, good large laser on that center torso there. That looked very, very promising. Yeah, this thing's barely hanging together. Oh, wow. Actually, let's just have a look at those weapons for a second. So that's 2 medium lasers, 4 flamers, and 2 machine guns. Wow. That is definitely not going to be very nice if it gets up close, but
Standing by.
I doubt it'll make it that far. Alright.
Good to go.
Oh, and I forgot, we have the striker unit to deal with. Let's go ahead and march on forwards. We'll go with a melee. We only need one of the melee to hit, and it's instantly dead. So we'll go ahead and march over there. Let's go... let's see. I think we get 2 evasion pips if we move over there. I think that'll be sufficient. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack. Alright, 1 more vehicle bites the dust. And sure enough, that is a Panther in the back there. Okay.
Reporting. Vehicle destroyed.
Well, that'll work nicely. We can handle that. It's only got an SRM4 and a PPC.
Receiving you.
Fairly stock standard stuff. Let's bring our Javelin forwards. We could go here for a 70%, but I think... yeah, let's focus in on that fire starter. Again, I'm not hugely concerned by the Panther there, but we might be able to get a kill right now, so we'll go ahead and take what we can.
Engage target.
Alright, well there goes an arm.
Target's taking a critical hit.
That's some solid damage right there. Oh, look at that. A single medium laser at 40% reduction. That is not too concerning.
How's it going?
Fimble, your turn once again. Let's go... what do we do here? We could go ahead and take some decent shots on this thing, and if we focused in on its right-hand side, we might even be able to strip that PPC before it gets much of a chance. Let's see, 3 evasion, but these are the much better rods. You know what? It's probably going to have some minimum range penalties at this distance, so maybe it is worth running forwards. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Yeah, I think it's worth doing. Who knows? We might be able to slow it down a little bit. Let's see, resolve. We do have enough. We could actually, no. We're not going to spend it. That'll take us down to 45, and then everyone will get a...
Here it comes.
won't receive the accuracy bonus. Although there goes that ammo explosion.
Now that hit something good.
That's nice. Alright, Enforcer taking a couple of hits, but again, nothing we cannot take care of. Looks like they've got a Javelin popping on up. Oh, wow. Alright. That is a little more than I was
They've
expecting.
blown past my armor.
I guess that's perks of having a fairly heavily...
Armor
rolly
damage.
setup there, because that's all medium lasers, right? Yeah, the 10F has all lasers. Alright, that Panther is almost cooked itself. Yeah, alright, well,
Yep.
we'll deal with what we can. Let's bring... what do we want? We could do the lasers, we could also send the LRMs, and you know what? Maybe we even just move up and fire first. Yeah, do large lasers against... oh wait, we don't have multi-targeting, do we? We could just focus on that Panther, but that seems fairly over the top. We might also be able to do damage to... what's that? Another Javelin with LRM 15. We have many good options here. Okay, let's see. If we were to move on forwards, we could do a full barrage against that Javelin, and I think that's where we will focus our attention. Yeah, we'll see what we can manage. We'll kick up the UAC-10. We'll prepare for that. Let's drop off a little bit of excess heat with that large laser. It should be enough to cripple this fairly well.
Engaging target.
Alright, well, there goes half a mech.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
Let's see, how's it doing? It's not feeling too great.
Orders.
We could go ahead and move on forwards. 85... 35's in the... actually, hang on a second. If we just shot where we're at, we've got perfect range. You know what? I'm not even going to toy with that anymore. Let's just go ahead and get this thing out of the way.
Let her rip.
Alright, center torso down and out.
Target eliminated.
Alright, now let's just follow
Standing
up.
by.
I think what we'll do here is... This thing's only got a PPC. I think we maybe just use our jump jets. We land over here, we fire everything. We've got great accuracy. I don't see how it could get any better. And... Well, if we take out its only other... Oh, actually, hang on. If we go on its left side... We're almost guaranteed the kill. Okay.
Orders?
Hang on a second. Let's see. Can we get to the left-hand side of this thing? We've got no heat, so we can jump as far as we so desire. We can't quite make it into that... into the opposite section. Let's just go... You know what? Maybe we just focus it down. We jump, we take out its weapon, leave it with melee. It would potentially put our... right arm at risk if we got hit. Yeah, it would have a slight better melee than what I would prefer, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and we'll use some jump jets. We'll get nice and close, and we'll just fire at it straight on and see if we can take out that center torso. I think that's how we're going to do this. Alright, let's see. What do we need? 21 damage. As long as something hits the center torso, we are all good.
Acknowledged.
Alright.
Target eliminated.
Nicely done. Alright, only got 2 more of their guys left. Looks like they're backing up slightly.
Yes, Commander.
Fimble, we could follow up with... Oh, it took damage to the leg. Huh. Okay, I guess that makes sense. The PPC did hit you there. Let's just save for a second. We'll use your sensor lock or something like that. Either that or LRMs, depending on what happens. Again, minimal damage here. Alright, what have we got? Resolve, maxed on out. Okay, let's go. I think we fire the LRMs. We've got a pretty good chance of taking it out as is. I don't think we really need the sensor lock. That's... Yeah, look, as long as most of this hits, I doubt it's surviving.
Roger that.
Yeah, there we have it. Very nice.
Mech destroyed.
Now we can get everybody else to focus on that final mech, which should be fine. We could move the Vindicator, but again, I think if we just shuffle on forwards with our Enforcer, that should be all good. Yeah, we can't sensor lock or anything, but we will cool down just that little bit. Yeah, we'll pick up that evasion too, just for the sake of things. We're not actually going to fire our UAC-10. I think we... Oh, do we just stay heat neutral with our medium laser? You know what, maybe if we drop off one of these... Yeah, look, it's unlikely to hit. We're just here for the evasion mitigation.
Engaging target.
Oh, look at that. We hit the rock instead. Alright.
No damage detected.
Again, not a huge concern. We sort of expected such things. Alright, what can we do from up here? 85 across the board. You know what? Let's go ahead and go for a precision strike. This will overheat, so let's drop off the... You know, let's drop off the LRM-10. Let's see if we can focus the damage. Let's just go for the center torso. We're not getting salvage, so...
Roger.
All that we want is a quick kill.
That hit something good.
Alright, so that's down to 3 on the next
Yes,
round.
Commander.
Let's bring the Phoenix Hawk. Let's see, can we sprint the whole way? I think that'll be good enough. Yeah,
No shooting, just running.
that'll be fine. And then I think what we'll do is with Fimble, we'll go for another precision shot. We'll march on down as far as we can. Yeah, we'll hit him with another precision shot.
Heading out.
That then means everybody else in the lance gets to take a pot shot at him. In fact, you know what? That leg is looking pretty miserable. Let's see if we can knock him over.
Target quiet.
Although it looks like we ended up focusing more on the other
Critical hit,
leg.
Commander.
Alright, hang on a second. Yep, looks like we hit the other leg.
Aye, aye.
Alright, well then, if that's the case... Oh, actually, let's see if we can take the final shot here. Let's move slightly further back. Oh, yeah, there we go. Good percentages. Let's focus in with the UAC-10. Yeah, so we can do a UAC-10. We can chuck on a... Oh... We can chuck on a medium laser. Let's go ahead and we'll go precision strike. And look, there's a good chance we're going to kill this thing, but if we can leg it, we get more salvage. So we'll go to try and save the salvage. It was unlikely, but you never know.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Alright. Good job, Commander. The people can get back to their lives again.
Mission successful.
Well, that was a nice little outing. That should pay rather handsomely too, given the fact that we focused on Seabills. We got a secondary objective, so that means we'll get a slight boost to pay, I would think. No? Oh, okay, they just underestimated how many there were. That's a disappointment. No injuries for any of our pilots, which is the main thing. Let's see, how is the Phoenix Hawk doing? It's got 5 structural less in an arm. Look, that doesn't thrill me, but I think we could probably field it again. Although this Javelin with the 10 structural less in the leg, that does concern me a bit. Yeah, we'll have to see. Alright, well either way, we did get another part of the mech, which is very nice. We already had 2/3. LRM-15, that is a nice pickup, and then some extra ammunition is not too shabby. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what we can do. In fact, we might end up storing it, or maybe even selling it, potentially. I can't remember if it's the same variant that we currently have or not. But either way, it's it'll be as it is.
That mech you asked for.
Alright,
is cleared for fighting.
let's see, 4 lasers on a 30-ton chassis, no ammunition, yep, there we go. What do we want? 10F, we already have a Javelin 10A, so that is... Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I'm not minding the fire support that we're currently getting from it. I think what we'll do here is... I think we might end up storing this. Yeah, let's send it to storage for now. That'll be fine. We can always make something if we need. Let's head to the mech bay for a second. We'll give our Phoenix Hawk or the Javelin a quick repair. Yeah, I think we'll fix up the Javelin. We'll give it a day of repair. Yeah, 3,000 Seabills 1 day. Nothing too crazy. And then I think we'll come back and do the other contract. But first, let's go... Actually, you know what? No, we have the training module. Let's go ahead and pass 1 day if we can. There we go. So that is... Oh, wait a second. Did I change the tasks? Whoops. Alright, hang on a second. That'll cost us 1 more day.
Hey boss, we've just completed those upgrades.
Structural repair on the Argo is good. We've still got the Spider. Okay, that's a little annoying that I did that out of order, but it is what it is. Can't play a perfect game. Let's see. Everybody else. Big man, you have enough for either piloting or some more guts. It's not terrible. I think we'll keep things as they are for now.
Waiting for orders.
Thimble. We're still a little bit short there. I would like to pick up the multi-targeting if possible. Let's see. Headhunter. We're 100 off the next level of tactics, which I think we might try and go for. And then for myself, I can either go for some extra piloting or the minimum range. Oh. Let's see. I don't think we've really got any minimal range weapons that we've currently got, so let's hold off for the second.
Good to go.
And then I think that'll be where we'll just continue on moving on. Let's move to the next contract and see what we can do. Let's see. We have a patrol. So there's a pirate lance operating within a region we control. All Davian operations are at risk as long as this lance is allowed to move unimpeded. Alright, I think we'll go ahead and negotiate. This is a battle in polar territory, which is excellent. That means we'll have a very nice cooldown reduction. Pirates won't like us, Fed Suns will. I think that's easy enough. Alright, so what have we got? I think I'll stick with the Enforcer for now. That seems to go fine. And then, oh, the Phoenix Hawk is partially damaged. Ooh. Actually, I'm almost tempted to go ahead and pick up... Hang on a second, let's just double check. I'm not normally too upset by going in with a little bit of damage, but it is on one of the arms, I believe. Yeah, 5 points on the right arm. So if we have a look, right arm, we've got a small laser, 2 medium lasers. That is where most of our weapons are set. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead and repair. Yes, it'll take 1 day, but again, it has to be done. I do not want to risk losing a part and most of our damage output. Alright, work on the Phoenix Hawk is done. Yep. I think that's the smarter way of doing things. No point in taking unnecessary risks. So let's go for the patrol. Let's go ahead and go for money. There is some decent salvage on board, but again, I think right now we're just going to focus on having a little bit of money to spend. So we'll go ahead and accept. Everybody, I'm happy with what you have. Yep, let's go ahead and deploy. Yes.
MechWarriors, prepare for combat.
Alright, well, you know what? Let's see what they have in store for us. You know what? I might actually pause this loading for a second and I'll see you when we get the actual mission briefing. Okay, so we must go ahead and destroy the pirate lance. We believe that there is a pirate lance operating on Brockway within a region we control. All Davian operations are at risk as long as this lance is allowed to move unimpeded. Patrol the area, find the enemy lance, and eliminate it. And as Darius says, this ought to be a straightforward battle, Commander. Finding a military lance in a backwater like this should be no challenge at all.
Command interface initiated.
Commander, the engine signatures I'm getting from these guys are bigger than I was expecting. Can you get eyes on the target, Maya? What are we dealing with here? I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, be careful. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a little bit more dangerous. For us, though, I think we should be fine. We've got a good mix of firepower. Let's go ahead and get the high ground as soon as we possibly can. And then... yeah, I think that should be good. Let's get our javelin. Oh, look, we could have a few areas. Let's go ahead and check the left-hand side. Oh, and we do already have contact. Okay, one unknown mech. I'm assuming there is going to be more. Let's get Big Man in the Phoenix Hawk in as far as possible. Enjoy some of that cover.
Moving to position.
And I guess we're going to see what we're dealing with. Oh, hey, XO. I've got a leopard inbound to the battlefield with Marek markings. Are we expecting company? No, we aren't, Commander. Heads up, we may have additional hostiles headed your way. Okay, looks like this may be a three-way battle. Again, we're not getting salvage in this one so much, so again, the aim is survive and kill. Alright. We know that they've got a light mech and a medium at least. Let's see if we can figure out what is on the battlefield a little bit better. Alright, so they're marching on in. I think at this point they should not have eyes on. Let's go ahead and reserve once more.
Standing by.
I want to see what they've got. Alright. Where to go? This is going to be an interesting point. They're going to have cover fairly quickly, which is a little bit annoying. We could potentially, but again, we will not be within vision. Just double checking. Yeah, there is a bit of a hill here, so that might change the angles. Alright, we might be able to move the Enforcer up. There is rough terrain, which we definitely do not want to end on. Let's go... Oh, you know what? We might actually want to sprint if possible. Try and get ourselves into better position.
What's up, boss?
Yeah, look, I'm really not too sure as to what we want to do. Actually, we can move up and shoot on this turn. And I'm feeling like that might actually be a good call. Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump. This is a bit of a far jump. We're only going to get our medium lasers. That is still going to toast us up a little bit. Do we go for... just see what we're dealing with and try and get as much evasion as possible? I think this might be a good plan.
Lifting off.
It might not be, but I'm hoping it is. Alright, what are we dealing with? We have a Javelin with twin SRM 6s. Okay, so that isn't insignificant. And then we have a Blackjack with AC2s and medium lasers. Okay. Well, the good news is they're in shoddy condition, so 50% of its normal armor. Is that the same for all of these guys? It does appear to be so. Alright, so what do we know? Yeah, 3 lights and 1 medium. The medium being the Blackjack. Okay, so let's see, what can we do? Well, you know what? I think we should probably focus on that Javelin. This thing with those twin SRM6s is not too shabby.
Roger.
We'll go ahead and see if we can put some damage on there. That'll be nice.
Commander?
Fimble, let's march you down. Oh, we've actually got cover over here. That could be nice. Now, it'd only be pot shots, though. Potentially, we may want you to focus on that Javelin. Yeah, actually, if we could take that Javelin out, that would be the best thing for us. We could also go ahead and sprint and move forwards. I am tempted to try and get that UAC-10 doing some serious damage. That will open up some decent shots on the next turn. Yeah, look, I think maybe we try and use a little bit of this evasion to our advantage.
Full throttle.
Alright, and then what have we got?
What's up, boss?
Waiting for orders.
I think we actually might just move our Vindicator for now. We might try and get our LRM-10 firing on that Javelin, see if we can cause some trouble while still getting into position. Yeah, if we can take out one of their mechs early on, that would be nice, or at least take out one of their SRMs, because those things can do a bit of damage. Yeah, we just got to be careful.
Taking the shot.
Alright, well, we took out an arm. Unfortunately, that's not the weapons.
Need something, Chief?
And then... you know what? Let's move you up over here. This way we'll at least have some good cover from whoever's landing over here. We shouldn't get outflanked by this. Yeah, it sets us up nicely, I think. Alright, let's go. LRM-15. Let's see if we can follow this up with a destruction.
Have some of this.
That's some solid damage right there. That is nice.
Take
Alright, well, we took out an SRM-6. Oh, and here comes the Free World League Detachment Leader. Huh, I told you monitoring Davian comms would pay off. That looks like walking salvage, lads. Mercenary Commander, eject your people and leave the mechs. You'll be allowed to live. Commander, this got complicated. Engage the new targets, and I'll let our employers know their comms are compromised. Okay, Joy. We now have a new mission. Alright, Commando 2D, coming on in. Fair chunk of SRMs. Glad we...
Reporting. Minimal damage.
glad we went ahead and we repaired before taking this fight here. Alright, so we've got a few choices. We've got...
Ready for orders.
Let's see, our Javelin could take shots here. We could move and possibly get some shots on that Commando. Again, I'd like to do that if possible. But we need... we need to see what we've got. Alright, what do they have there? They have a Jenner, medium lasers, SRMs. These guys are fully decked out. That is concerning. Okay, let's go ahead and... let's move back down here. Yeah, indirect fire from these guys is the way we want. We can take some good shots on the commando with our lasers and soften them up. I think this is the play.
On my way.
Yeah, oh, right. We actually don't have multi-targeting, so it's either one or the other. You know what? They might actually be close enough where they want to engage over here. Let's go ahead and take care of this commando instead. Alright, structure exposed. Let's see what happens out now. Alright, a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy. Our enforcer is fine. Let's see what Marek does. They're positioning up. Locust coming on in for more shots on our Phoenix Hawk. That is less than agreeable.
Light damage. Holding firm.
Alright, and Marek is taking position in cover as well. Yeah, these guys really have a good position. There's only 3 of them though, and 4 of the pirates. I'd rather not have to take all of the kills if possible, but we may not have a choice. We've got that blackjack. That thing might fire at us, but again, there's not much we can necessarily do. I think... I think we stay back for a second and let them focus on us. If they can't really see us, they're not going to be shooting at us as much. So let's maybe... I guess we're going to be focusing on that blackjack. It's not my favorite target, and that does set up a few stray shots, but I think it's going to be necessary. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's see what damage can be done.
Here it comes.
Alright, structure's exposed. Let's see what they're doing. Yeah, they're taking shots. Alright, well... this makes our life a little bit more complicated. I was really hoping that some of them would fire off in this direction, but it is not to be. Let's get our enforcer. We could take some good shots here. We could definitely take out the commando. Could potentially take out that blackjack. I think the blackjack is going to be our best option. We could technically melee the javelin here, but again, I don't think it's really worthwhile. No, let's just stick up. Let's just stick up over here on top of that rock. And then, yeah, we'll take a better firing solution. Yes, they have cover. I don't know. It's just what we've got. We'll try and let our resolve increase as well. I want that +1 to accuracy. Alright, well.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
That does damage.
Orders?
Big man in the Phoenix Hawk. Let's go. I think we might go ahead and use a quick jump jet. Got some good shots here. Got some more odd shots there. That commando is also not looking too good. Hang on a second. SRM 6-4 and a laser. This thing has twin SRM 2s. And then... yeah, it's only got one SRM 6. I think we focus in on the commando. Yeah.
I copy.
Alright, still cooling down. Let's add a little bit of heat. We can do damage. It's worth doing.
Confirmed.
I just don't want to get shredded by their SRMs
Critical hit, Commander.
and leave us in a rough spot for dealing with the remaining mechs, because they're in much better condition than ours. Alright, well, can't do much about that.
Damage is minor, Commander.
Let's see what Marek can do in return. Alright, head destroyed. At least that's one less target for us to deal with. Fimble.
How's it going?
Yeah, know what? I think that maybe, just maybe, we go ahead and we hold off for 2 seconds. A shot on the blackjack could be something, but if we can just let them vent their frustration against them and not us. Oh, mind you, actually, hang on a second. Yeah, they only have light mechs, so my assumption is that these are going to be like laser Jenners or something along those lines. Yeah, look, we're going to hold off and reserve for 2 seconds. We're just going to see what they try and do. We have enough armor for now. If we can at least
Losing armor.
draw new lines for us, that's going to be better. Alright, that blackjack's getting beaten up on, and then... What's that locust? Ooh. Well, you know what? Minimal damage. Minimal damage.
Damage minimal.
It's not like we're going to be showing our back to these Marek Lancers anyway. Alright, I'm guessing that's a javelin there. That looks like an LRM-15. That's, I guess, somewhat expected. Let's see what to do. Could go ahead and move down here, potentially get some shots on that locust, prevent any shots in our back. It's got a fair bit of evasion. Not a huge fan of that. This blackjack only has a medium laser. Honestly, I think we just let it do its own thing.
Ready for orders.
This Phoenix Hawk is... yeah, our closest mech. Let's go ahead and try and move around. Let's go for jump jets. We'll pick up a little bit of cover here. We'll have good percentages against the locust here, and we might even be able to cripple that a little bit. And that also puts us in better range for these things, as in they shouldn't be able to take a shot at us as easy.
Confirmed.
And it also means that that blackjack can't get behind us too. Alright, let's see what we can get done.
Giving him everything I've got.
Alright, well,
Think I hit something good.
that's a good sign. This Phoenix Hawk is a bit of a light mech killer, which is nice. Yeah, blackjack moving forwards. Kind of expected that to be the case. Again, moving the Phoenix Hawk was the right decision. Let's go.
Receiving you.
Alright, let's bring you all the way down here. We'll focus your lasers on that locust. We'll deal with him soon enough. We'll be in good protection from Marek. Yep, that's how we're going to do it. Let's just go center torso, let this thing be over and done with. We'll save our LRMs, no point in generating excess heat. Let's get this.
Taking the shot. Hell yeah.
Alright.
Hostile eliminated.
Let's see, Vindicator. Let's bring you... Look, to be fair, I actually don't hate your positioning here. I am almost tempted to go ahead and put shots up over here and start stripping away you while you're not in any cover. I'm not a huge fan of this SRM-6 nor the single medium laser, but again, these guys are going to be the biggest issue, and I think they'll probably focus them down instead of us. And so I think moving here will give us the best choice. Worst comes to worst, we've got some decent shots on these guys. Let's just get that going.
Move into position.
Alright, and at least we can now figure out what we're dealing with, and it is in fact a Javelin 10A with that LRM-15 as suspected. Let's just go ahead and take a shot. Good chances here. Let's start doing some damage.
Confirmed.
Alright, well that is nice. Good damage indeed. And then for us, maybe what we do... UAC 10's going to be out of range, unfortunately, but that large laser is pretty solid. Yeah, 65% on that large laser. We do have multiple targets if we so desire. You know what? I think I have been tempted. Yep. We'll see how the heat generation goes, but if we were to focus point blank, this is just enough to not overheat. Alright, let's see what we can do. Yeah, look, that Javelin's probably more annoying with its SRM-6 than that medium laser. So I'm not even that concerned. Let's go ahead and we'll do a multi-target. We'll fire everything we can against you. Have we got refire penalty? Yes, we have. Let's drop that off and we'll save ourselves some heat. The others we will then focus on USB. Sorry, let's drop that large laser. Oh, wait a second. The UAC 10. That's actually 60%. I am incredibly tempted, but that is overkill. We do not need that, but this does keep us relatively cool. Actually, we could even reduce a little bit of our heat. And you know what? I think we actually might. Yeah, look, we're actually going to cancel focusing on multiple targets. We'll send our large laser over against that javelin. We'll try and get that refire penalty back down with the UAC-10, and then our medium lasers, we will save their heat so we can focus on something more important, because I think these guys could get shot at. Alright, well, gave them a good shot to the leg. Let's see what they're doing. Javelin.
Warning. Detecting MechWarrior injury.
Well, that was rude. Alright, what about that, Jenna? What are you doing? Minimal damage. Okay. Okay. Alright then.
Hey there.
Thimble, let's move you to cover. Actually, hang on a second. What have we got eyes on? 65 for the LRMs. 70s for the lasers. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we do focus in on that. We'll move on up. I think we'll see... Yeah, let's generate a little bit of heat. I want one of these guys to go down if possible.
I copy.
So we'll go... Oh, wait a second. We don't have that option. You know what? We really could break a leg. That would be very nice. Could also... Oh, wait a second. No, we're not even close to taking out that LRM. You know what? If that's the case, let's just focus on the best thing forwards. Yeah, a little bit of ammo isn't going to be the end of the world.
Copy that.
You never know. We might get lucky. Nope. Alright, well, it's hopping down off its little perch. No surprises. Alright, now we're finally taking a little bit of the fire, which is not what we want, but can't do much about it. Let's see, who's left? That blackjack with the medium laser. I doubt it's going to get particularly close, but we will see what we can do. Let's go... Actually, hang on a second. What have you got? Medium lasers, SRM-4. That gen is going to be a pain in the butt. Could definitely get some shots on target there. We're going to go up here. Maybe we just go point blank. 55, 55, 70 resolve. You know what? Maybe we go last and we go for a precision strike. I think that might be our best way of dealing with this annoyance of a Jenna. Yeah.
Yes, Commander.
Phoenix Hawk, let's mosey on forwards. We'll go... Let's march up over here. We can shoot that thing in the back and destroy it quite comfortably. Yeah, I think that's the way we do this. We'll have cover, we'll have evasion. We're not going to use our jump jets. We want to cool down a little bit.
Confirmed.
I think that would be best. And then... Yeah, let's be done with this thing. Let's go... Oh, actually, walking and shooting everything decreases our heat. Huh. How nice.
Got it.
Alright, well, it's still kicking. Alright.
Minimal damage on that hit.
Well, what a nice attitude to hear from Fimble there. Not too fussed, which is nice. Let's go ahead and move on up. I think at this point we then... Yeah, focus with everything against that Jenna. That spider is annoying, but again, it's actually, you know what? 2 medium lasers, fairly insignificant. That Jenna is going to be its biggest, the biggest
On my
issue
way.
when it comes to damage being thrown at anybody. Let's just see if we can start to knock this thing over.
Got it.
Alright, well that large laser did a good job of burning through armor. That now means... Yeah, we should be able to take out that right torso with that SRM ammo. Let's march on up. Point blank? I think point blank is in order. Precision strike. This will take us down to 40, which means we'll be back at 55 for next round, which is good. We get all of the benefits from our inspired. We get to take our precision shot. We get to go through the whole 9 yards. Let's see. Should we focus in on the torso? Take out its SRM ammo? I don't see any more SRM ammo anywhere else. Yeah, I think this is going to be the best way to minimize its potential damage. Let's see if we can pop off a few of its arms.
All weapons committed.
Speaking of which, left arm, right torso destroyed.
Enemy mech. Critical damage
Gosh damn, let's
detected.
do this.
You know what? That UAC-10 works pretty good. Alright. What do we have?
Damage minimal.
Enemy turn. Spider's moving up. Firing on the blackjack. Thank you kindly for not aiming at me for once. And now, let's see. What has that Jenna got left? It's got melee. Poor them. Alright.
Good to go.
Let's get our... Oh, you know what? Maybe we go ahead and melee? 18... 28... Yeah, if it hits, that would actually be enough, but I think... That is an 80% shot. The others are 75, but again, if either one of those shots hits, I'd rather two 75s than one 80%. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's move you over here. Yeah, two 80s and a 35. You know what? Let's just fire everything we've got. I just want this javelin out of the mix, and then we can focus on them better in the next one. Yeah. There you go. Alright, bye-bye.
Copy that. Got it.
Well, ammo explosions. That'll do it. Alright. Looks like their pilot's not feeling too good in the blackjack. We're not even really that concerned here. Let's go... What have we got? 45s, 70s on that javelin back down there. Oh, and that's pretty well shredded too. Alright, I think we take the shot here. I think we can ignore the melee from one small mech like the Jenna over there. Alright, well that's the left torso. Not quite the one that holds the weaponry, but that's fine. Oh, the blackjack took a shot at us. Okay. Fine. The Jenna taking a kick. Well, you know what, it could be a whole stack worse. Let's see, what have we got? Melee with 65, that'll cool us down. That'll be enough to take out the torso. Actually, that's almost enough to kill the mech if it just hits anywhere in the upper section. That would also allow us to cool down. 85%, that's pretty solid. Yeah, you know what? So be it.
Physical attack.
You want to get into melee and fisticuffs? That is it.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Alright, big man, what have you got left? I think... maybe we go for melee here. 55 damage, that's enough to take out a leg. Probably enough to take out... Oh, that center torso as well is not feeling too good. Yeah, look, this is actually a good chance for us to cool down quite significantly. We are, although, unfortunately, in a bad position as far as the arcs are concerned. Let's just double check. What have you got? Yeah, you still got your LRM-15. That's less ideal, although... You know what, maybe we just come in for melee over here. Yep, that's what we'll do. We still get to cool down, mostly anyway, and we more or less get to make sure that we've killed a mech. Yep, there we have it. That blackjack I'm not too concerned about. 25 damage is not our concern, considering the LRM-15. Alright, so what do they plan on doing? Alright, they plan on missing. It's an interesting tactic, but we will see if that pays off. Let's bring...
Standing by.
Let's see, they've got that spider there, that's looking pretty good. Blackjack as well. I think we go... You know, where is a good position we can take? 45s, 15s... 55s, 20s... Actually, where about from here? 60s and 50. That spider's still in pretty good condition. You know what? Maybe, Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and focus in on the Blackjack. Make sure that our Phoenix Hawk does not get hit unnecessarily. We've got enough friends to handle the rest. Let's just go ahead and fire. Do we even want to take a shot here? Actually, you know what? It's just going to go into its rear arc anyway. That thing is cooked. Oh, wait, sorry. Right side, not its rear side. That's unfortunate. Alright, well, it's not doing anything as it is, so that's fine.
Good to go.
Let's see. Big man in the Phoenix Hawk. Let's go ahead and jump on up. I think we go ahead and we systematically annihilate the very poor little mech. I think we do. Alright.
Up high.
Upsy daisies. Let's get rid of this spider. Actually, you know what? Got a couple of good weapons here. Let's go ahead and focus it. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just core the thing.
On it. Enemy down.
Much more efficient. Very nice. And then between us, let's see, what do we have? I don't think I've actually got any refire penalties at this point. No. You know what? Blackjack, I think your time is done. If I were you, I would eject because I'm about to, well, I'm going to make you question your life choices. Let's go. Bye-bye.
All weapons committed.
And that'll do. Okay.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Well, I suppose that's a good lesson to learn. On patrol, anything can happen. Let's debrief in orbit, Commander.
Mission successful.
Alright. Well, money has been made. We've killed 2 separate lancers, one more well-equipped than the other, so that is, I think, respectable given our position there. Luckily, they didn't fire too many heavy mechs on us, otherwise we could have been in a bit more trouble given our location. Unfortunately, Headhunter did not manage to get a kill, but everyone else did. I guess that just is as it is. Any damage overall? The answer is no. Huh. I would have sworn we were going to take some structural damage, but apparently not. Okay, well, we did a very good job there. Yeah, we were very, very lucky. Unfortunately, I'm out for 18 days. It is one of those cases. We're part of another Javelin of 2 different varieties, and that'll have to do. Alright, well, at least we got something. And a good amount of money to show. Okay, well then. Is there anything else for us to debrief with, or was that it? Well, you know what? I'm sure Darius will have just spoken to them and let them know that their comms are being traced or listened in on. It's always good to know that you've got a party line. Although, yeah, I'm not sure how many people really know about party lines these days. I remember back in the day when back in one of my earlier homes, we had 2 separate phones because there was one downstairs and one what was it? One by the garage. Then there was another one inside the house, and yeah, if you picked up at the same time, you could actually you know, have a chat just on the local line as it was. They were essentially walkie-talkies that wouldn't ring. Same thing at my great-grandparents' house too. It was rather fun, but either way, I don't think people really have landlines anymore, so yeah, a bit of a lost thing. I know you can technically do it with mobile phones, but let's be honest, most people don't really know how to do things like that, even though they are fairly simple. Alright, but either way, let's go ahead and see. We've got some potential upgrades we could take. I think what we'll do is, for ourselves, we'll go ahead and improve our guts here. Make sure that we've got a slightly higher overheat threshold. There's been a few times where we've been right on the cusp, and I think that would be rather nice. Either that or that minimum range penalty would be good, but again, I think that's easier to get to. And then, yeah, I think this is what we'll go for. That overheat threshold is particularly nice. So we'll pick that up.
Training complete.
As for Rannick, let's see, what's the next thing? -2 indirect fire penalty. I think that is rather good. We'll go ahead and we'll focus on that.
Confirmed, Commander.
Yes, Commander.
Fimble, you my friend. Here we go. We can now go with some gunnery skills as well. Go for multi-targeting. That will do nicely. And then, you know what? We could even go ahead and... Yeah, you know what? I think that's what we'll go ahead and do. We'll just go ahead and confirm that for now. Yes, it is a permanent ability. That is A-OK. And then, who else is left? Big man. Ooh, okay. We can go for breaching shot soon. That could be nice. In fact, we might even chuck you in the Enforcer if you do get this. Go with multi-targeting, send the UAC 10 against something, and then, yeah, maybe the other weapons against something else.
MechWarrior
That could be
training complete.
particularly nice. Alright,
Yes, Commander.
let's see. Chase Goblin, you're still out for
Ready for
now.
orders.
Fimble,
What do you need?
Headhunter,
Waiting for orders.
Tank. Yeah, I think we're all good. Yeah. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, we do need to wait on at least one of our other people to return. It shouldn't take us too long, but it will be done. And then I think that's probably where we'll go ahead and call it for today. Yeah, we might go ahead and have a bit of a look at the store in the next one and see about potentially doing another one of these contracts. We might potentially go for an eye for an eye. We might actually be able to get a decent amount of salvage. We've got enough money that we're not in dire straits anymore, but we will see how it all goes. So if you do want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is the best way to catch all future content, and I'll see you next time. So until then, thank you for tuning into the Leviathan Cove. This is the Leviathan, signing out.